Where's my beginning intro?
You can't with what?
Intro.
You're over here now. Okay.
I know. I'm looking. I'm trying to get it to.
ISHY.
I'm sorry. It's okay. You have to listen to what she's saying.
Are you kidding me? ISHY, you don't have a lot.
Oh, hey.
I just haven't done anything. You know what I mean? Like,
Hey, everybody. How are y'all? Thank you so much for coming over here. Welcome to SouthernISH. I don't try to cry at the beginning of my stuff, but you know, there's been a lot going on, guys. And anyway, I appreciate y'all being here. I really do. Norris chewed up my headphones and my producer had to go get some more. So we're yes, I have a doodle. He's a golden mountain doodle. And Nash used to tell me all the time, she was like, he's weird and he's obnoxious. And I was like, Nash, he's not. She's like, you'll never get a man if he's around because he's not even a real breeded dog. She was always messing with me. I love her. I love her. She's a hot mess. She always will be. But anyway, I am going to try to cover the Austin Drummond stuff. I wanted to do this a long time ago. Am I too loud? Is my sound okay for y'all? I may have to put my readers on. Yes, said Auntie Sherry. She was always like, I was doing something like with I don't know, I was trying to do something with plumbing, and she was like, you need a husband. You need a fireman. Yeah. She's a blessing. Yeah, please hit the thumbs up for me, y'all. And we'll move along with this. In case y'all don't know, I'm going to give you this summary of Austin Drummond. It's a big case that's come out of Tennessee, and there's been a lot of twists and turns with this dude, and it's really wild. If you haven't watched my previous videos, which the first one and the second one, we had a lot of technical difficulties, but I think we've worked those out. I'm gonna play this one, and I'm telling y'all, I'm doing this tonight for Nash, because she kept telling me, if you don't like do this and somebody else will benefit, and I was like, what are you talking about, girl? God, I love her. Anyway, this will give you a summary, and then we'll move on into the hearing. And I want y'all to just pay attention to the stuff when we get to that point, because it is important to understand how there's a lot of people that do not think that a man was in my background. That's my producer, you two bad actors. Gosh. Y'all don't miss a thing. Sim was like, I saw a man in your video. And I was like, no, that's my producer. He truly is. So anyway, he rescues me. He's actually around the corner. We did meet on a dating site. It was kind of funny. Let me just put that out there. It was funny, but we've always just been friends for like 3 years now. And yeah, he knew I wanted to do, hey, RLR. There you go. You know, I feel like, who watched Jay's live last night with covering the Ted? The Ted, I've been telling y'all about Ted, and no one really listened to me. And I was like, well, okay, y'all will find out about Ted. Ted is a messed up bro. But let's move on to this one, because that way I can try to do what I've done. And I'm sorry, I know I'm snorting into the microphone. I don't mean to, but it happens sometimes. It is what it is. All right. I'm going to be looking at y'all. Don't fall asleep, Shell.
Tonight on the news at 6, you'll hear accused killer Austin Drummond defend himself as to why he had a weapon behind bars and used it in a fight years before he was arrested for last week's mass murders. WRAG investigators uncovered the audio and new state records showing a number of disciplinary infractions from his time in prison. Our chief investigator, Jessica Gertler, shows us what she's uncovered.
This is an initial parole hearing for Austin Drummond.
The audio recorded July 23, 2020, when Austin Drummond went before the Tennessee Board of Parole. He'd been serving a 13-year sentence at a state prison in Lake County.
Looks like you've got a couple of pending right now for drugs and a cell phone.
Drummond's disciplinary infractions from the previous year were discussed.
No, this hasn't been handled yet.
On top of that, he'd been in solitary confinement a total of 90 days for possession of a deadly weapon, an assault with that weapon, refusing a drug test, a security threat, and refusing to participate.
Looks like you've had about 27 incidents in total, 7 of them Class A, 7 Class Bs. We've had threats, deadly weapons, violation of state law, drugs, and etc. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir. The assault and the deadly weapon, it came after it was self-defense. I was almost beat to death. And that's where that came from.
The parole board records don't delve into Drummond's entire disciplinary record while in prison. In 2023, these photos were reportedly posted to Drummond's Facebook page, showing him with premium liquor, streaming devices, video games, and multiple phones. Drummond also picked up contraband, attempted murder, drug, and weapon charges during the end of his sentence. The parole board records confirm he's a member of the Vice Lords gang, and he only finished the 10th grade. He was tried as an adult after this video shows him at 17 years old in a gas station in Jackson, pointing a pistol at a clerk.
What did you have?
It was a BB gun. Honestly, I was on Xanax that night. I don't even remember doing anything.
Using any other drugs or alcohol around that time?
No, just Xanax, alcohol, and marijuana.
All right, and then you've got 13 counts of retaliation for past action. Tell me about this.
Yes, sir. After my trial, after I was convicted, I was on the phone with my dad, and I made a comment that I would be out soon, and that I had the jury's information.
So you made threats to go after them?
Yes, sir.
The district attorney in Jackson sent this letter opposing an early release, stating in part, he has no desire for rehabilitation and is not capable of living among society. The parole board voted unanimously against an early release.
This hearing is now concluded, 1:19 p.m. Good luck to you, Mr. Drummond.
Thank you.
Investigating for your news leader, Jessica Gertler, WREG News Channel 3.
Now, Drummond said as of 2020, he had only completed one program promoting pro-social behavior. He did receive his GED, but had not completed any vocational programs. The WREG investigators are continuing to dig into this case. And today, by the way, in his return to court, Drummond was denied bond. You can find all the details from the arraignment on WREG.com.
Okay, so that's that. What is this doing? Hang on. We're gonna move on here. This is the FBI, and he lasts for like maybe 30 minutes. Is there an echo? It might just be me. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. Please hit the thumbs up if you can. I don't know. I wish Nash, she'd kick me in the ass and be like, if you don't hurry up and like get to your point, people are going to leave your channel. She told me my lighting was bad in the first thing that I did with Ted. And I was like, Nash, I thought it was pretty good. And she was like, it sucked. I love her. I love her. Hey, Snazzy. Welcome in. Yeah, she was on everybody's ass. I love her. I love her for that. But anyway, we're gonna listen to this guy, okay? Now he's from the FBI, and he has all of like, it's amazing how they do this stuff, because it kind of hits me in a weird way too, because he does all of this stuff with like phone analysis and all of that, and he deals with a lot of like missing kids cases. And then I always think about, you know, Sebastian Rogers, but Sebastian's phone was left at his house. So it, you know, it is what it is. But if somebody has a phone or a burner phone on them, then they can trace exactly where you are. And that's where this man comes in. I mean, he's very detailed, but just listen, because he has a lot of good info. And then we'll move on to the guy that was there from the TBI that was actually at the scene of the crime. That was pretty telling too. So
Testimony you're about to give is the true statement from God?
I do. Thank you, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
State your name.
My name is Scott Lawson.
And do you work for the Federal Bureau of Investigation?
I do.
Okay, what is your current assignment with the FBI?
I'm a special agent on the Safe Streets Task Force.
Okay. And were you involved in the investigation as to this homicide in Lake County?
I was.
What role did you play?
Most of my experience is in the command post, assisting with cell phone analysis from tolls, working with timelines and video review to assist in the exploitation of cell phone data.
Okay. And have you received training on cell phone data?
I have.
What kind of training have you received?
I'm a member of the FBI's child abduction team, and we get yearly training with our cellular analysis survey team. That's the experts at FBI headquarters with analyzing cell phone data, geolocation data. So when we deploy with the child rapid deployment team, we are consistently working in partnership with the CAS team to analyze cell phone data and kind of feed each other back and forth to further investigations.
Okay. And is that what you did here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What specific cell phone data did you look at?
We started off our investigation by doing a deep analysis on the tolls of the victims' cellular telephones. When I say tolls, I'm speaking of the incoming and outgoing calls from the victims' phones to include records of incoming and outgoing text messages.
Okay. And when you did that, did you notice anything in particular?
Yes, we worked off a theory due to many of the victims arriving at the scene where they were murdered at various times, right? So they didn't all just appear there together. So we worked under the theory that someone must have organized a meeting or at least some type of reason to get the 4 victims to the crime scene. So as we were looking at the victims' tolls, we were looking for any unknown or unusual cell phone activity, particularly any cell phone number that would have contacted any of the victims consistent with maybe asking them to come to this location.
Okay. And did a number stand out?
There was one number that was immediately interesting. It showed up on the cell phone analysis at approximately 6:38 that morning, 6:38 a.m. That number was unknown as far as the tolls that we had analyzed to that point of known numbers of associates of the victims. In addition, another thing that we do when we're working these investigations is try to determine when the victims' phones stop taking calls, right? We're trying to work on a timeline. We're trying to narrow everything down so that our cell phone data is strong as possible. We noticed from the 4 victims' phones that none of the victims answered a call or made a call after 7:01 a.m. So knowing where they were located and when their phones stopped answering calls, we knew that whatever had happened to them had most likely happened right around or just before 7:01 a.m.
And the number that stood out, was that 731-345-7426?
It was.
And so prior to 6:38 that morning, there wasn't on any tolls of the victims.
Right. We subpoenaed the number and ascertained that that phone had just came on for the first time ever that morning, and that it had been purchased the night before at a Walmart in Dyersburg, Tennessee.
Okay. And so what else did you do next?
We asked for tolls for that cell phone number to ascertain who, at that time, we could only see when it had called one of the victims' phones, which we had their tolls. So we now asked for the tolls of the number ending in 7426. One of the first things we saw when those tolls came in is that at 7:01 was the last call with one of the victims, Adriana Williams, and at 7:25 it was calling persons associated with the rental of the Nissan Rogue car that was in question. So we knew pretty confidently that number was very interesting to us. We then asked for the cell phone company to provide geolocation records for the cell phone 731-345-7426, and immediately we ascertained that number had been at the crime scene and had started traveling south from the crime scene at approximately 7:24 a.m. As I mentioned earlier, my job is to combine the phone, the video reviews, and the timelines to make it tell a story, to help it assist in telling a story. We also had ascertained that Matt Wilson's vehicle was also going south from the crime scene, passing a camera at approximately 7:25 a.m. And the cell phone data put this newly identified cell phone number passing that same camera at a time consistent with Matt Wilson's truck going southbound.
And Mr. Wilson's truck is a late 80s F-150.
That's correct.
Can I ask one thing? I'm sorry. When you say passes the camera, are you referring to the camera that, where was that camera?
I should have been more specific. Yes, sir. So
I apologize. I
no,
didn't mean to
absolutely.
interrupt you, sir.
There was a fire station on Highway 78 just north of the main intersection here, headed towards the crime scene. And that was the video that caught the F-150 traveling southbound at 7:25 a.m.
There had been some testimony about cameras, and I was trying to make sense of which one it was talking about. So
Yes, sir.
apologize for interrupting the agent. Yes, sir.
All right, Agent Lawson, you had mentioned that 7426 caught a number associated with a rental. Can you explain that?
Yes, due to some good work performed previously, there was a Nissan Rogue that had been identified that had been rented in Jackson, Tennessee the day before and picked up on the morning of the homicide. This vehicle was captured on license plate readers going northbound towards the crime scene and then going southbound away from the crime scene at a time later in the afternoon. In addition, there was some identification of the vehicle from a park ranger being seen at the location. The investigative team followed up with the rental agreement and with Enterprise Rental Car to learn about the who had rented this vehicle and identified a Michelle Obelis, I may not pronounce the last name correctly, Obelis, as being the renter. As that investigation continued, she had identified that the vehicle had been given to Austin Drummond and rented on Austin Drummond's behalf.
Okay. And did she have any connection to the defendant, Mr. Drummond?
Her boyfriend, Giovanni Thomas, was closely associated with Austin, and she was also closely associated with an individual named Tanaka Brown. Our phone toll analysis identified that at 7:25, as that number 731-345-7426 was leaving the crime scene, it was jumping on a three-way conference call with Tanaka Brown and Giovanni Thomas.
Okay. And then what happened next?
So, obviously at this point we were extremely interested in just learning everything we can about the user of this telephone number. We learned that upon departing the crime scene, it traveled to an area in Dyersburg commonly known as Bikini Bottoms. Bikini Bottoms used to be like an off-road recreation vehicle area for ATVs and such. When the phone arrived, and a point of interest, as this phone is traveling south towards Bikini Bottom, one of the victim's phones is traveling in concert with that phone, so that was very interesting to us as well.
Okay, I want to pause this for a second. The only reason why I'm even playing this part is because people forget, like, this baby was, you wish we were whistling from the beginning. Well, okay. I mean, we could. I guess we'd have to go back to my old one that I first covered. Now my hat is sideways and I'm just here. But I'm saying, no, if y'all stay tuned, you'll see where these cars from this family, okay? This is Austin Drummond. He is dating a corrections officer named Caitlin Speed. She is the sister of Courtney Rose. Courtney Rose is one of the deceased that was killed this morning. So was Adriana Williams, Matthew Wilson. They are the parents of this baby that was left out on the side of the road. Then you've got Braden Williams, and he's 15, and he was cruising around in a, dark, blacked out Dodge Charger. And he was the one that was saw in Walmart the night before buying like the burner phone and just the tarps. It's crazy to me. I've never tried to victim shame, but like these people are honestly, they're not innocent in whatever they were involved in with Austin Drummond and allowing him to be like family. They are all involved in this. Where they met up at the end of this road on Carrington, which I showed the video before about how desolate it is. Hey it, Mama Bear. Hey it. It's a lot. Yes, it is true crime. It is a lot. I'm sorry. It is. Hey it, Evelyn. I appreciate you for being here. Feisty Cooter and Hexy. Anyway, yes, I do want to go to the next hearing. And I'm hoping it's going to be moved to like, hey, Jen Fisher. Anyway, so I only want to cover this because there's a lot of people out there that are like, well, this phone wasn't there. It wasn't there at the time. Yes, it was. There's also a weird, like, I got to get my producer to cut out like this girl that was talking to Austin in the prison, but he like says everything about what happened. He says, he claims to be an informant to the government, which I don't believe that, but he claims to be. And then when we watch this, as we move along, we'll see, and I know it's late and y'all don't have to say it's okay. Just hit the thumbs up. You'll see that you can see these cards. Something got this 15-year-old Braden there, his mama, okay? And then you've got Matthew and Adriana coming. And then this person on Facebook catches his confession, apparently. I don't trust stuff off of Facebook, but anyway, he said, he was there and they started pulling, he was there and he was wanting to make sure that Courtney was dropping the drugs in the right way. Stop that. These people have been doing this. They've been doing that. They've been doing that. They have been doing this stuff. That's probably how he got to know Courtney and even Caitlin Speed, his girlfriend, who was having his kid, and the baby has already been born. But anyway, it's just crazy. It's crazy. And then we'll move on because I know this is a little behind if y'all have followed this, but like he is written out on paper. He wants to defend himself. And now they won't let him have paper anymore in his prison. But I'm sorry, he did some nasty, nasty things when he was in jail. And they were tired of him. Smearing poop on your, no. He was trying to get attention and he wanted to move on to prison because he felt like he was safer there. I do not believe anything about him. Nothing about him being involved and being an informant. I don't. Yes. Hey, Sin. How are you? No, it is crazy, Shell. See, and true crime, she knows, and the baby. So, we don't know until we watch a little further here. And if y'all don't want to hear this guy, we don't have to listen to him. I can fast forward to just where the victims were found and how, it's sad the way they were kind of like cover it up. Braden was with his mother, and then you've got Adriana and Matthew over on the other side of the road. And then in that confession, when he was like, well, they pulled out weapons on me, they found out I was an informant, so I had to defend myself. Boy, sit down. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Because he said he shot. Ugh, my channel might get ding for that. I don't care. I just talk in real terms, y'all. He said that Courtney Rose was in the passenger seat of her white Traverse, and he shot at her once, and she leaned back up, and he shot her again. No, when we go and listen, and we hear the evidence, they were all shot in the head. All of them, except for Matthew. Matthew is with Adriana, who is the daughter of Courtney, but they are the parents of the baby that was left. And that's why, he lied to her, but why would he say all that stuff? Yes, he did. He shot Braden in the back of the head. 15. But why is Braden up in the middle? I get it's 7 a.m. My gosh, they're all are earlier than 7. It was like 6 something a.m. in the morning. They're all rushing out here trying to do a drug deal. They're trying to drone drugs. This place is right at the end of the road that is across from the prison that's less than a mile away. That's what they were doing. They had been droning in drugs. And I hate to accuse victims, but like, you didn't wind up here. You didn't wind up here because of randomness. Y'all were all involved in this. So I don't buy into Austin Drummond stuff. I don't know why people do, but they do. They feel like he's been gypped, and like it's just a sad thing that he is like, you know, he's being railroaded because it's like a death row like case. And I'm like, are you joking with me right now? I'm sorry. I mean, I think he's he's messed up. And the weird thing is, we've never heard from Caitlin Speed, which is his girlfriend, which is the sister of Courtney. I know it's hard to follow. We've never heard from her. Not one damn time. Not one time. She was either put in, like, I don't know, protective custody or something. But that's why I want you to just follow along, listen to this guy, because he tells you where these phones pinged at. And I'm telling you, the very last time this phone is going to ping is at Cherry Grove Apartments in Jackson. Guess where somebody lives? Courtney. Courtney lives there. I mean, Caitlin. Sorry, Caitlin. She's the one that lives there. And that's the last time this phone was used, and it was turned off and never used again. So do y'all want me to continue to play this? Do you want me to fast forward it to the very end? Or do y'all want to hear the next guy that finds these deceased people? Let me know. It's whatever y'all want. Caitlin's sister is normal. As far as I know, she's still standing by his side. Wait. No, she wasn't. She stays with the family. Okay. Okay, I don't know. Caitlin's sister. Did she have another sister besides Courtney? I don't know about all that. I haven't seen anything with Caitlin after all this stuff. No, she wasn't. She stays with family. Okay. Girl, they needed it all. Okay. I'm gonna just hang out. All right. Thank you for the direction.
Both of those phones got to the Bikini Bottom area, and the phone 731-345-7426 ride.
And this is the burner phone that was purchased the night before at Walmart. Okay. And there were two of the victims that purchased this phone. One of them was Braylon, who's 15. He's 15.
Bikini Bottom at approximately 7:44 a.m. and stayed in the area to approximately 9:04 a.m. Based on what we do with violent crime investigations and the knowledge base that we have, we theorize that something as far as getting rid of evidence or weapons or something had happened at that Bikini Bottom area.
And in fact, did it?
It did. There was, based on the phone data and the investigation in whole, search parties were organized to go to Bikini Bottom. On the day that these phone tolls were being worked, they initially found a Tennessee driver's license for Matthew Wilson. And the next day, we found Mr. Wilson's vehicle down a ravine there at Bikini Bottom.
And that's the late
Good night, Shell.
80s F-150 truck?
Yes, sir.
Did 7426 stay at Bikini Bottom?
It stayed there till about 9:04 a.m. and then it began a southeastwardly travel towards Jackson, Tennessee.
Okay. And did it eventually reach Jackson?
It did.
Do you know what time?
I'll refer to my notes for a more specific time. We saw it arriving in the Jackson, Tennessee area at approximately 10:04 a.m.
And where did the phone go while it was in Jackson?
The phone first travels to
And I love this. I'm going to say it. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all have ever heard of this case. And put a 2 if you haven't. Moving on.
an area consistent with the Clarion Hotel in Jackson, Tennessee. It then moves towards the Cherry Grove Apartments, and then eventually towards back up towards Dyersburg.
Okay. Let's stay in Jackson for a minute. Was there any significance to the Clarion Hotel?
Through the investigation, the Clarion was identified as a place where Austin Drummond resided regularly and potentially used as a place to organize criminal activity.
And was his vehicle at the Clarion?
The information from the investigation is that his personal vehicle, the Audi, was at the Clarion. Mr. Tanaka Brown, who picked him up at Bikini Bottom, drove him back to his vehicle at the Clarion, and then followed him to Cherry Grove to depart, to leave the Audi sedan.
Is there any significance to the Cherry Grove apartment?
Cherry Grove Apartments is where Mr. Drummond's girlfriend, Caitlin Speed, resided. The investigation revealed that when his vehicle was departed at the Cherry Grove apartment complex, that he ascertained some cleaning style brushes at the apartment.
And then you said after that it starts moving back north towards Dyersburg?
There's a little time with it still being
It right. Then pay attention. Because we're going to cover it. Jen Fisher, love you too, bro.
in Jackson, but by 11:55 a.m., the phone began a northwestern travel towards Bells, Tennessee.
And then it reaches Dyersburg?
We have the phone in conjunction with the license plate readers being in Dyersburg at 12:39 p.m. and by 1:04 p.m. being back north of Tiptonville near the crime scene.
And did it stay at the crime scene very long?
The phone appeared to stay.
Kels, I love you more.
And a couple, just one note of reference for an education and this geolocation stuff with phones.
Like y'all, this is very, very boring, but it's important.
You get these records either when a phone call is placed, a text message is placed, or some type of data transfer between the phone and the network. So if Instagram sends you a notification or your bank pops up and says you overdrafted, like any kind of data transfer, you'll get a location data. But a person could be at a place a couple minutes before, and we would not see that due to if there was no data transmission, could stay at a place a couple minutes after. These time frames were based on a call being made or a data transfer happening. So the last data transfer we saw near the crime scene was at 1:14 p.m.
All right, and then what happened?
1:38, we started seeing timing advanced data southbound from the crime scene.
Timing advanced data.
Timing advanced data is how a cellular tower communicates with the handheld phone device. So
I love y'all. I'm gonna fast forward for a second. Just gonna fast forward here. Get him. I know but he nails down the phone info, okay? Now he's kind of a boring FBI dude. I mean, I don't know, but he was important. But hang on, let me move on to this guy because hold on. This guy brings the deets. Okay. Now he's leaving.
Yes,
Bye, bro.
Your next witness, General.
There's the ugly Austin Drummond. Rod, you're getting a shout out from Kels. That's very good. It's good, Rod.
Special Agent Justin Tubbs.
Agent Tubbs, if you would please come to the witness stand, sir.
This is Agent Tubbs. Now, I just want to point out something here. I think it's very nice how sweet the judge is. He calls everybody sir. Even this dumbass that's on the screen.
If at any time any of the parties need to take a break, use the restroom, or do anything, just let me know, and I'll be happy to do that. I just forgot to mention that. Agent Tubbs, raise your right hand, sir, please.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
Kels. Stop it. Send. Okay, now pay attention.
Would you state your name, please?
Justin Tubbs,
And Special Agent Tubbs, where do you work, sir?
with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
How long
White
have you worked there?
Lotus.
I've been there
Welcome in, White Lotus. Thank you for being here. You, Kels, sit. Y'all behave now.
since 2018.
And do you recall, were you on call or were you called on the evening of July 29th, 2025?
I was called, yes.
Do you know what the purpose of that call was?
Lake County Sheriff's Department had been called to an area out by the prison where two vehicles I had received emails about the child that was missing that morning or that afternoon
From Dyer County?
from Dyer County, and the parents of the child plus the grandmother and the uncle of the child. So whenever I was called, I was told their vehicles and the deceased victims had been found out at the end of Carrington Road.
Okay. Did you go to that scene?
I did.
Once you got to that scene, what did you see?
There were members of not only the Dyer County Sheriff's Department, Lake County Sheriff's Department, Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, because it was on their land. But there was also some special agents from the TBI who had also been called to come out and assist me. Once we got out there, I saw the black Charger that was known to be driven by Braden Williams, 15-year-old child, and a white Traverse that was known to be driven by Courtney Rose.
Was anyone inside the vehicles?
They were not.
Okay. What did you do after locating those vehicles?
We had Deputy Hunter Brady walk us around the scene as to what he had discovered whenever he first came upon the scene. And he showed us inside of the white Traverse, there was a red, brownish stain substances that are consistent with what I know to be blood. And then he showed us...
Let me ask you this. Do you know who that white Traverse belonged to?
It was known to be driven by Courtney Rose.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And if you drive down Carrington Road, To the left, where it kind of comes to a dead end, it's almost like a parking lot where these vehicles were parked. Behind that is whenever you start walking into the woods, same as if you, what the deputy before was talking about, if you cross the road, you have a wooded area in front of you. So the deputy took us to the back of the parking lot and showed us where Braden Williams and Miss Courtney Rose were laying. They were covered with what looked like to be camouflage burlap, which is commonly used with hunting that I know of. And then he walked us in front of the parking lot across the road where the bodies of Adriana Williams and Matthew Wilson were at, and they were also covered with the same type of burlap.
Were you able to, were they all four deceased?
They were.
That you arrived?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to determine the,
I need a ruler. I need to tell Kels, not Kels. Kels went to bed. Sin, pay attention and stop messing with Hexie. That's why I need a little ruler to keep y'all in line here.
cause of death at that time? Or what, not a medical cause, but what appeared to be?
The injuries were consistent with gunshot wounds that all four victims had.
Were you able to determine how many gunshot wounds there were?
Not at the time.
Were you able to at a later time?
Yes, whenever the medical examiner out of Nashville called me with preliminary findings, he informed me of how many wounds and type of wounds that each victim had.
What type of wounds did Courtney Rose have?
She had been shot in the head.
How many times?
At least once that I remember.
Now pay attention to this. This is what I was talking about before. So he's saying in this confessional, which y'all haven't heard yet because my producer's got to clear some of the weirdo mess. Kills. Stop it. No ostrich. No one's going to go to the corner. We're all good. What kind of ruler? Rod. Okay, that's weird. A ruler. A regular ruler. 12 inches. I think that's what it is. Now, that's what I'm talking about here. See, all of them have been shot in the head coming from this man who I believe. I do not believe, yes, true crimes. Jeez. I'm glad I can kind of laugh. Like I've been low lately. But anyway, so that confession that this girl got out of him, which she was all like about and just like, no, we're not measuring sin. We are not measuring anything. It just kills me because like he does tell her this stuff, but it's just like the idiots of the world that follow and try to get involved with these men that are in prison. Like, why do you want to talk to them? Like, to me, that blows my mind. I would never touch somebody like that. Yes, with a ruler or anything else. I wouldn't want to. But she did get this confession from him. And he was like, they pulled out, weapons on me. And I had been an informant. Now, one thing that did get me was that back when he, in September, when he posted bond for all of his stuff that he had done while in prison, he was supposed to have a hearing in April. And that's the only thing that got me, because there wasn't one in April. And that's the only reason why. And he doesn't have tattoos, and he says he's a part of the Vice Lords gang. I mean, I don't know. I don't believe him, but some of the stuff that he did say was kind of awkward. But he did lie to her, because this man's saying everybody was shot in the back of the head. So there's other people that are, they've been involved in this. You'll hear about them. Tanaka Brown, Giovanni Thomas, and Michelle. I mean, like, it goes on and on, but they've all pled out. They only had things that were, accessories after the fact. So I don't think anybody was with him that morning. I think he did this himself. That is my opinion. Hey, Evelyn Pick, thank you so much for being here. And I love you for talking about the rulers.
What about Braden Williams?
He had been shot in the back of the head.
What about Adriana Williams?
She had also been shot in the head.
And what about Matthew Wilson?
Mr. Wilson had been shot in multiple places in his body for approximately 11 times.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Please. Please.
Okay, so this is his mother that's having to get up and move and leave because it is a little interesting. Like, why did he shoot Matthew 11 times? Maybe because Matthew was more of his size and could, like, I don't know. Maybe they were fighting. But the saddest thing to me, we didn't get to finish the other thing because I moved along. But the last phone call that this, what do you call it? Burner phone. The phone call that was made, it was made to Adriana, which is weird to me. And then the last phone call that she received or that she sent out was to that, and that was at 7:01. And then he like nobody heard from any of these victims again, the 4 of them, none of them. They were never heard from again. So that tells me that this burner phone, then when people act like, well, how do we know that it was Austin with the phone? It could have been Braden. No, it's not Braden. It's Austin, because Austin is the one using it at 7:25 in the morning, leaving the crime scene and on a 3-way call with Giovanni and Tanaka Brown. Sorry. I can't with this stuff. Like, these people that come out, like, it's some good channels that come out and they're like, well, we don't know that. And I'm like, okay, go back and re-listen to it. I'm slow. I had to listen to things like several times, but you have to pick up on that. And yes, that burner phone was there. It was. So everybody trying to defend Austin, like, stop it. Just stop it. It's so stupid to me. Well, anyway, I mean, y'all can have your opinions. Let's just listen to little Mr. Man here. I always wondered if Caitlin tried to call her sister. She was in my the night before and the day of. Yeah, she was. Yeah. But blows my mind that Austin came to her apartment and that's where that phone was turned off. And I mean, Caitlin had to know what was going on. I mean, I'm sorry. And I would love to speak with you, True Crime. Like, I would, because I mean, I'd love to hear somebody else's perspective on it, but it's crazy to me. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, and then, people are like, oh, he was so nice to leave the baby out in a yard. No, he's a thug. He's a thug. Yes, I know about Courtney's mom passing away in April. But no, they act like he did a nice deed by leaving this baby and honking his horn. No, he was stuck with the baby. If we could play this confessional, he said that the baby was in Matthew's truck when Adriana and Matthew show up. That's what they were doing. And then that's why he wound up with the baby. And then he just decided he didn't get rid of that baby. He drove that baby all around all day long from 7:25 until, dang, I feel like I sound like Nancy Grace, and I'm not trying to, until like 14 14:25 or something like that, 14:35 in the afternoon. Sorry, I speak in military time because I'm a nurse. So at 2:35 in the afternoon, he's had this baby with him since this crime occurred at 7 in the morning. And he's still got her at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yes, with his buddy, Tanaka.
Please help me. Please.
Go ahead, Joe.
Was there you had said earlier that there was an infant that had been found in Dyer County.
Yes, sir.
I assume, did you find any evidence of an infant that may have been there?
I didn't see any evidence in the vehicle at the time. Whenever we realized the totality of the scene, myself and my immediate supervisor that was on the scene, we decided to call the violent crime response team that TBI has, and we stepped back away from the scene and secured it until they got there.
And after they got there and they processed the scene, did you continue with the investigation?
We did. We set up a command post away from the crime scene at the Old National Guard Armory here in Tiptonville.
Were you eventually able to develop a suspect in these homicides?
We were a person of interest, yes.
And who was that?
Mr. Austin Drummond.
Did you see him in court today?
I do.
Did you identify him?
He's a gentleman sitting at the defense table in the inmate uniform.
Okay. After getting there, you said that there were two vehicles there. Did you get information that there may have been a third vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
We were told by Miss Kim Hamill, which is Mr. Wilson's mother, that he drove a older model F-150.
Okay. You know what color it was?
It was white with a red stripe down the side of it.
Was that vehicle out there that day?
It was not.
Did you think that maybe that was something you needed to be looking for?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What did you do?
Chief Joe England with the Tiptonville Police Department, before we got to Tiptonville, had already been looking at video from the Tiptonville Fire Department. There's a camera there, and he had found video of the victims arriving that morning, passing the fire department, driving north out towards Carrington Road, and then I believe there was video of the truck returning a few minutes later, about an hour or so later.
Okay. And you said that was footage from...
And he had kept...
I feel like y'all are fading fast. So here, I'm going to show you the videos of the vehicles arriving. Hold on.
It appears to be the white Traverse of Miss Courtney Rose.
Okay, so that's Courtney Rose's car showing up in this video. Now, the time was off. It was off by, I can't remember, like 53 minutes or something. So it says 5:34. So it's behind, and they're saying it would have been like 6:28 in the morning. Yeah. So here it is.
What direction
She's coming.
is that vehicle traveling?
It is traveling north.
And what, in relation to the fire department, where is the crime scene?
If you're looking at the road,
And if
the direction that
y'all
the car is
right
traveling
there,
is the direction of Carrington.
that's going to be Braden coming right behind her. 15 years old. You're not supposed to be driving by yourself, bro, when you're 15, but okay. It's a
So
big,
that car
clean
will be
family right
traveling
here.
in the direction of the crime scene.
Correct.
Okay. And then you recognize that vehicle?
It appears to be the vehicle that Mr. Braden Williams would have been driving.
Okay. And this would have been, since the time is off, approximately 6:28, somewhere around that time.
Correct.
And Auntie Cheryl, thank you for being here. I appreciate that.
fire department camera. Right.
Correct, pointing south.
You recognize that vehicle?
I do. That is the vehicle that appears to be driven by Mr. Matthew Wilson.
And is that the vehicle that was not at the scene that you were looking for?
It was not at the scene.
Okay, so before in my other video, I wasn't talking correctly. I didn't think this truck had shown up. I didn't know that it did until I had rewatched this, because it's been a hot minute since I watched it. And then I realized that who's in this truck right now is Matthew and Adriana and the baby. So they show up, they're 20 minutes behind. And this is how Austin Drummond leaves this scene of the crime. He gets in this truck with the baby, and then they leave. And that's why he ends up meeting Tanaka Brown. And they roll this truck down the road, like in a ravine, and cover it up with kudzu. But I didn't realize that at the time when I was first talking about it, because I felt like, and things do get confusing, but the Nissan Rogue that was rented, that thing, I don't even know why they rented a car, honestly. I still don't understand it. But he comes back in a Nissan Rogue, and that's where they keep pinging his phone calls and all that stuff. And it's a whole lot. Do y'all hear my kid? I feel like he's talking. Yes, his grandfather did stay humble. Yes, his grandfather did give him that truck. And, it was wild though, but I still do wonder why did they rent a car? Like, what was the point of renting a Nissan Rogue? And if you remember that, they rented vehicles. Oh, well, that's true too. I had forgotten about that. Y'all can hear my son. Lord have mercy. See, Hey, hold on. I'm gonna let this play. Hang on. I gotta talk to the producer and send. He's still a neighbor and he lives around the corner, so stop it. What is this? Is happening? I can hear him talking. Get Caitlin and run.
I appreciate it. Thank you again.
Bro, who is? I feel like this is Ted and Shibby. Who is talking in my phone? My Lord have mercy. Hey, Norris. How you doing, honey? Okay, I'm gonna let this play. I'm gonna go try to figure this out real quick. I'll be right back. But no, so that's what makes sense to me. But I still, yes, you're right. True crime. They may have had to rent a car just to stop that. Just to, oh my gosh, I'm not okay with this stuff. I gotta get better at it. They could have to follow through with a drop that they were supposed to do, but it still makes me wonder why he wanted to get rid of them, and if Caitlin wasn't involved. Like, I still think she was involved. I do. I think she was involved.
And the time, once again, it's not correct. So is it approximately 20, 22, 23
I'll be back.
minutes after
Hang on.
the first two vehicles came by?
That's correct.
And then did you later find a video from the fire department as well of one of the vehicles or any of the vehicles leaving the scene?
We did.
Was there a video of all three vehicles leaving?
No, sir.
How many vehicles were actually leaving the scene?
It was a video On this video, it only captured the truck of Mr. Matthew Wilson.
Was it Mr. Matthew Wilson in the truck, or was it just his truck?
It was just his truck, from what I can tell. I couldn't see, I can't ascertain who was in the vehicle.
My dogs. So, now we're good. Yeah. Okay. So when you're ready for them to hear again, just that's how you mute the mic. On Saturday, you're getting a new soundboard, and you'll have a button.
I don't eat.
So when you're ready to talk, just click on that
But
again.
I only. Where did that come from?
Bump something, that's okay. No biggie. When you're ready.
How did they? I mean, I only have 12 people watching.
I know, that's okay, you're new.
That's
See
embarrassing.
that?
The same vehicle leaving the scene?
It appears to be, yes.
Okay. Now, you heard testimony from Agent Lawson previously about the phone calls. And there was a talk about a phone call that connected on the cell phone that was at the scene, then left the scene, and then was eventually at Austin Drummond's parents' home. Was it at the same time that coordinates with this video?
We got it under control now. Okay. Let's move along. Let's watch.
Yes.
Now, did you also obtain video footage from Williams' garage?
It was obtained. I haven't viewed it.
Now, were you able to determine that the time on that one was actually correct?
I do remember being told that they had the correct time on it.
Okay. So, now, is this south of the fire department?
It is heading back towards Dyersburg.
Okay. So if you're coming from Dyersburg to the crime scene, this camera would have caught the vehicles first and then the fire department.
Correct. The Mexican restaurant is to the left of the screen. And then you have a mural that's painted on these little grain bins or chemical bins.
Okay. Is that the same white Traverse we saw previously?
It does appear to be the same watch.
And that time is 6:27 a.m. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So that time is actually accurate. That's the time that the vehicles were actually going towards the crime scene.
The real time, whenever this video was seized or collected, was the same time as what the live image on the screen that they were watching the video was. So yes, that's the correct time.
So that would have been the correct time. And then the black vehicle that is trailing,
That appears to be the same Dodge Charger that was at the crime scene.
got the red and white truck once again.
It is.
Can you tell how many people are in that vehicle?
There appears to be 2 occupants in the vehicle.
And that time?
So this is Matthew and Adriana and the baby arriving at the crime scene.
6:50 a.m. That would be the accurate time?
That's correct.
So about 20 minutes after the first 2 vehicles came by.
Yes, sir.
And we'll show you one other.
I love y'all. This is for Nash. I can only grow from here. Okay.
That's the same vehicle now leaving the crime scene?
It appears to be.
And once again, the time on that.
This is 07:25 a.m.
So approximately 30 minutes after it passed by the first time.
That's correct.
Can you tell if there's two people in the vehicle?
It doesn't appear to be. I can't see anybody in the vehicle from here.
You see anyone in the passenger seat?
You mind if I stand up?
No, go ahead.
I don't mind. Go ahead.
Now, what I have always wondered is, I guess I don't know what car, like, Austin was traveling in, and maybe at True Crime, you can tell me, but how did they not have a video of, like, what car he arrived in at the crime scene? That's the only thing that's ever gotten me, but I know he was there. I mean, that's a given, but I've always wondered how they don't have any of that. But then they have this of him leaving in this truck, and they have everything else, and then, they don't have that one, though.
Maybe not.
Did you know how far it is from the Mexican restaurant there to the crime scene that you were driving?
Just a few minutes. I'm not sure on the mileage. Maybe 2-3 miles.
Maybe 10 minutes?
Maybe.
So we've got about a 30-minute gap there from the time that the vehicle passes here, gets to the crime scene, and then comes back to that point.
That's correct.
Did you later find that red and white vehicle?
We did.
Where was it found?
It was found in the Bikini Bottoms area. The day before, the paper copy of Mr. Wilson's driver's license had been found. I believe it's commonly known as the Three Cross Memorial, or the Karen Swift Memorial.
All right, Sin, you should be paying attention. And if Nash was telling you to do that, you should be doing it.
It had been found by some citizens. We had some people go out there and collect it. The agent at the time believed he saw it was getting close to dark. Believed he saw some tire tracks going down the gully, the ravine, whatever you want to call it. So we set up a search for the next morning. That morning we had TBI out there, Tennessee Wildlife Resources, members of the Dyer County Sheriff's Department, and they found.
And I don't want to keep interrupting this, but I'm trying to tell y'all that this case meant a lot to Nash. And she had asked me since maybe December, like, to start a channel, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't know how. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. And she was like, well, just figure it out. You'll be fine. But if you don't do it, and she just kept beating up on me. I don't know what that was. But anyway, this case meant a whole lot to her. And it meant a lot to me. And if I'd already been having a channel, I would have covered it. It's my backyard. But she was all about this case. And when I was joking with her one time on the phone, and I said, oh, I think he may really be an informant. And she was like, shut up. She's like, stop that. You know that's not true. And I was like, well, I don't know. How do I know? And I know I have my gut feeling about him, but that's the only reason why I'm trying to cram this in to do this. And then I'm going to move along, and then I'm going to cover the Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony case, because that trial is supposed to be coming up on June the 1st. This is going to be put off again because I know I'm jumping ahead. I guess I'm tired. I don't know. Maybe it's just emotions. I don't know. I really want to cover this. Stuff hits me in waves, and I can't help it, and I'm so sorry, y'all. I truly am. I'm sorry. I'm gonna just let the video play. Then I knew not to like push myself, but I also didn't care because it was just like, it's fine. It's all fine. But I'll finish this part and then we'll probably be done, okay? I'm sorry, guys. I just like I need to pull my britches up and be a big girl. That's what Nash would tell me. So let's move along.
On that truck, down that ravine covered by kudzu bones.
Now, if we can go back one other thing, the video that we just showed, the truck as it was leaving Tiptonville, was at 7:25 a.m.
Correct.
Okay. When you heard the testimony of Agent Lawson, did you hear him testify that there was a three-way call taking place at that exact time, 7:25 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
Between Austin Drummond, Tanaka Brown? Okay, let me rephrase that.
I'll sustain that.
That there was a call from that phone that is of interest to Tanaka Brown and Giovanni Thomas.
Correct. The phone that had been at the crime scene that was activated that morning, that we later found out was bought by the victims the night before. There was a call to Mr. Gio Thomas and Mr. Tanaka Brown.
Okay. And at that exact time that it was passing that Mexican restaurant, 7:25 a.m., the call was being made.
Approximately correct. The exact time. Yes, sir.
All right. So now let me go back to the vehicle that was found. Did you receive any information about how the vehicle got there? Got your bikini bottoms?
Correct. We interviewed Miss Michelle Ovelis a couple of times, and she ended up telling us that she was told by Tanaka Brown that he had met Mr. Drummond with the baby out in that area and given him a ride back to Jackson.
Okay. Did you talk to Tanaka Brown about that?
We did.
Did he admit any of those things?
He did.
Okay. Did he make any statements about assisting to push the vehicle?
He did not, but he did make that statement to Miss Ovelis's boyfriend, Gio Thomas.
Okay. Did Mr. Brown bring anything with him when he picked up Mr. Drummond?
During an interview with Mr. Brown, he informed me that whenever he was on that three-way call with Mr. Drummond, Gio Thomas, that Mr. Drummond had asked him for a ride, and he also told him to pick up cleaning supplies. But he said he stopped at Walmart in Jackson and bought gloves, bleach, and trash bags.
Okay. Do you know if those supplies were used at that crime scene or at the scene of the truck?
We were told by Mr. Brown and Miss Ovelis that whenever they returned the vehicle, there was cleaning supplies and trash bags in the trunk along with a gas can.
Okay. So Mr. Tanaka Brown admits that he picks up Mr. Drummond and the baby from Bikini Bottom.
Correct. He also told Mr. I'm sorry.
And takes them where?
Takes them to, the first place he took them was to the Clarion Hotel in Jackson off Carriage House Drive. That's where Mr. Drummond's Audi vehicle was parked. Mr. Drummond got the vehicle. Mr. Brown and him went to Cherry Grove Apartments where they dropped that Audi off. They continued on.
Okay, so pay attention to that. They dropped off his car at the Cherry Grove Apartments. That's where Caitlin lives. So I don't know why she just disappeared and why we never heard anything else after her. And maybe True Crime, you can tell me more because I've never heard anything else about her. But he leaves his car there, and then it's just like, I mean, it's so crazy to me the way that I'm sorry, guys. Just the way that it's so blatant that she's obviously involved.
From there with the child in the car to the apartment of Geo Thomas and Michelle Ovellis to retrieve the rental car.
Okay. And the rental car, what type of rental car was it?
It was a Nissan Rogue.
Do you remember the color?
It was a silver or light gray.
And what type of license plate did it have?
It did have California tags on it.
And have you received information previously from a wildlife officer that may have seen that vehicle?
He is a state park ranger, Mr. Corey Hussey. He had seen a Nissan SUV along with the two victims' vehicles out on Carrington Road earlier that afternoon. And the distinguishing feature on that Nissan vehicle was it had California tags.
Okay. And you actually were able to determine that it was...
And Evelyn, it's hard to describe. So the crime happened in Lake County, Tennessee, but I'm sorry, guys. My producer's stuff is coming through my earphones. Anyway, so it was basically in, yes, like she said, Lake County, Dyer County, and then it's also in Madison County because that's where Jackson is. That's where Austin Drummond's girlfriend is. That's where he was arrested. That's where he grew up. That's where he first caught his beginning charges of robbing a gas station. So it's Jackson, Tennessee, or Madison County, Tennessee, Evelyn. But the murders happened in Lake County, Tennessee on Carrington Road.
Correct. Whenever we ran the information on that license plate, we found that it was a rental for Enterprise rental car, and it had been picked up at the Enterprise location over in Jackson by the bowling alley.
And do you know who rented that vehicle, who picked it up?
Michelle Vellis had reserved that vehicle on the night of the July 28th.
And you said that you had talked to Ms. Ovellis?
We had.
Why did she rent that car?
She stated on the night of the 28th, Mr. Drummond, she knew him as AD, came to her residence and asked her to rent him a vehicle to be picked up at noon the following day on the 29th.
Okay. And did he actually pick
You're welcome, sweet Evelyn. Thank you for being here.
that vehicle up?
He picked it.
Did he actually pick
He didn't pick it up from Enterprise. He picked it up from her residence later on the 29th at approximately, she said, between 10 and 11 a.m.
Do you know if he was alone at the time he picked up the vehicle?
Ms. Ovellis and Mr. Thomas both told us that Mr. Brown, Mr. Tanaka Brown, was with him whenever he arrived and obtained the rental vehicle and left in it.
Okay. And about what time was it that he left? After he picked up the vehicle and left their residence?
She stated it was sometime between 10 and 11 a.m.
Okay. And that was in Jackson?
That was in Jackson on the 29th of July.
All right.
And if we had listened to all of the stuff from the FBI agent, it lines up perfectly with everything that burner phone and whatever family member's phone that was riding along with it. It's perfectly tracking with what he's talking about.
We've heard evidence already about flock cameras and about looking for footage. Were you able to determine that vehicle actually did have a direction of travel after it was picked up?
Correct. We had it on camera sometime after 11 o'clock, or we did find that it was on camera sometime after 11 o'clock leaving Jackson.
Okay. Which direction did it go?
It was headed north.
Okay. And once again, is the crime scene north of Jackson?
It is.
Okay. Did it eventually make its way to Dyersburg and then back to Lake County?
It did. It was recorded at the intersection over by Love's at Cracker Barrel in Dyersburg, heading towards Lake County, north towards Lake County.
And was the picture clear enough to see if it was clean, dirty, anything about it?
It was. It appeared to be a cleaner car.
Was it later seen coming back into Dyersburg?
It was.
And was there a difference in the car as far as the cleanliness of the car?
I do not recall if it was the camera there in Dyersburg or if it was a camera in Jackson, but it did appear to be dusty from the midline of the.
So you would have to go back and rewatch my prior streams on this, but it's very strange how the wildlife, he's not like an officer, but he was there, and he's talking about how he comes through there around 1 o'clock, and you know, the Dodge Charger. Now these crimes happened at 7 a.m., y'all. They didn't happen in the afternoon. They happened at near 7 a.m., 6:30, somewhere around there, between 6:45 and 7:05. They happened. He drives by around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the trunk on the black Dodge Charger is opened, and then he comes back by and it's closed. Well, if we had listened to the other FBI agent, he shows how Austin was there again at that time. And then that's kind of what he's leading into, because in this, you know, Nissan Rogue is there. And that's what that wildlife officer saw, was a Nissan Rogue and the Traverse and then the Dodge Charger. But I mean, he'd only been on the out there for a month. So it's just, it's wild in a way to think about it. It's weird. I think it's amazing how people can use this kind of technology and track you down, like where you are. I don't like it sometimes either, but it's strange. Like that they can pick this up on this burner phone and know that he was there. And I love it because it's what nails his ass, and he's not a victim.
Doors, including the tires and rims.
Okay. The road out on Carrington Road, is it a paved road out to the area of the crime scene?
From what I recall, when you first turn onto the road, it's semi-paved and turns into a gravel road. Okay. And the area where the crime scene actually is, where the cars and the bodies were, was a gravel parking lot.
Okay. Do you have to drive a good distance on that gravel portion of the drive?
You do.
Now, we reviewed video cameras previously of the Dodge Charger, the white Traverse, the red and white pickup truck Ford F-150. Was there also video that captured the Nissan Rogue in Tiptonville?
I believe there was a video. I don't know which establishment that video is from.
Okay. Once again, you did receive video images from Williams Garage.
Correct.
If you would, I'd like to show you the video. Does that appear to be the Nissan Rogue that had been rented?
Yes, it's a light silver, maybe a gray Rogue, and it looks to have a license plate on the front of it, unlike what Tennessee requires.
And that was going to be my next question. Does California require a license plate on the front and back?
They normally do, yes.
Okay. And did this vehicle have a California plate on the front and back?
Other images that I've seen of it, it did have a California plate on the front and the back, yes.
Just as this appears to have?
Correct.
And that time, once again, is 1:08:52?
That's correct.
So this is probably maybe, what, an hour and a half from the time the vehicle was picked up in Jackson?
It was picked up somewhere after 11. It was leaving Jackson probably approximately 11:30 from what I recall. It'd probably be about an hour and a half or so, a little bit more than an hour and a half.
More than an hour and a half from the time it left Jackson?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And we'll show you one other video. And once again, notice that time, 13:08. Do you recall the time that the vehicle was seen by the park ranger?
Whenever we first interviewed him, he believed that he saw it somewhere between 1 and 1:15.
And that was 1:08, is that correct?
Correct.
We don't have that. Uh-oh. Hold on. Oh, we don't have that much longer to go, guys. If y'all can just hang out. Just let me finish this. We'll be good.
Does that appear to be the same vehicle going back towards Jackson?
It does.
So it was originally 1:08, it's now 1:33, so approximately 20 minutes or less from the time that it was seen previously. Is that right?
Correct.
So would that be just about enough time to go up there, turn around, and come right back?
It would be.
Did you have information that at this time the infant was still with Mr. Drummond in the vehicle?
Yes. Whenever Mr. Brown told us that he dropped whenever they arrived at the house of Ovellis, or the residence of Ovellis and Thomas, he stated that Mr. Drummond transferred not only the baby, but the cleaning supplies he had bought to the road and left the residence with it. So we had no other reason to think that the baby wasn't with him at this time, especially since it didn't get dropped off until after 3 p.m. in Dare County.
Okay. So that was 1:40.
So did y'all got that? Like I said earlier, this baby was there at this quadruple murder. And Austin Drummond takes off with the baby and is driving around, taking her back and forth from Nashville. I mean, not Nashville, to Jackson, Dare County, going back and forth and back. I mean, it's so sad to me that, like, people want to give him a pass for doing something. I think my hat is crooked. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm going through it. I'm going to keep on moving. But it blows my mind how people are like, oh, well, it was nice of him to drop the baby off. Listen to me. He's dropping that baby off because he knows if he does anything with that baby and he's a member of the, Vice Lords or any kind of gang, even if he wasn't, if they ever heard anything about him doing anything to a baby, he'd be more mistreated than he has been, probably in prison. So that's important.
When he was going back towards Dyersburg, and then, approximately an hour and 20 minutes later, when the 911 call comes in?
The 911, the Dyer County 911 call, yes, sir.
Okay. And this may be a silly question, but do you know if Mr. Drummond was the legal guardian of the child?
No, he wasn't the legal guardian of the child.
Do you know if he had custody of that child, had permission to have the child?
No.
Now, you did request cell phone data, which we've heard from already, is that right?
Correct. We had started working with our, as soon as we...
Yes, at True Crime. Like, I mean, it was 98 degrees that day, and he had her in her, like, her car seat, and he drops her off in a yard, and the humidity was, I can't even remember what the humidity index was. It was horrible. And he left her out there and thought that blowing his horn would just be like a good thing. It's a good thing. I'm doing my best here.
Weeks before we even set up our command post, we started contacting our agent, Andy Valley, who also works with FBI agent Carla Rexon, who also analyzes phones and the type of data that Agent White does. And he started submitting paperwork to AT&T and other companies for the victims' phones to start getting their data.
Okay. Were you able to determine where the phone came from?
The phone in question that Agent Scott Wilson. Dyer County Sheriff's Department had, whenever they gathered the video from Walmart the night before on the 28th, they also found, got a receipt from Walmart showing that a purchase by the victims of the burlap.
The victims. Remember, these people are going into a Walmart, okay? They're buying a burner phone and they're buying tarps. So I think this was led by Austin. Sorry, my hat's crooked again. But now I'm like in reverse on the whatever. Y'all are fine. But then they're going to act like, you know, no, these people just did this because maybe they were going to commit another crime and Austin just showed up there by accident. If that was the case, then why is there a burner phone with Austin Drummond after that calling Tanaka Brown and Giovanni Thomas messing around with these people's cars? It doesn't make sense. What does make sense is that Austin Drummond he's a bad citizen, he's a bad inmate, and he sucks at life. And that's what I would say.
The camouflage burlap or similar camouflage burlap that was at the crime scene along with the cell phone.
Sorry, General.
Do you recognize that?
This is the receipt I've seen, correct?
From the cell phone purchase?
Right.
And do you know who it was that purchased that cell phone?
At the time I was told it was one of the victims. I believe, or I do recall that I've been told that Mr. Braylon Williams was actually seen on camera purchasing the phone.
Did you make that exhibit your testimony?
Without objection, Mr. Huffman. Shows this marked as State Exhibit 6.
Were you able to determine if that cell phone was used to call any family or friends of Austin Drummond?
Yes, that cell phone was used to call Gio Thomas, who in turn put Mr. Brown on the phone on the three-way call that morning.
Did you interview Mr. Gio Thomas?
That was at 7:25 a.m. when Austin was leaving the scene of the crime in that pickup truck. And yeah, he did a three-way call.
We did.
Did he admit to you that he did have that three-way call and was part of the conversation about picking up Mr. Drummond?
That's correct, he did.
And that was to pick him up from Bikini Bottom?
Right.
Now, I've shown you videos. We've also had the cell phone data. Have you reviewed both of those prior to today? Have you looked at those, looked at that data?
I have some of it, correct.
Okay. Would it be accurate to say that the cell phone data timing on the cell phone data and the timing on the video match?
From the evidence I've seen that's been collected and presented during the investigation, yes, they did match.
When were you able to take Austin Drummond into custody?
He was taken into custody on, it would have been that Tuesday after, I believe it was August 6th.
He has the date wrong. It's August the 5th, but whatever.
So a week later?
Correct.
After being taken into custody, are you aware of any statements that Mr. Austin Drummond has made while being incarcerated?
I've been listening to his phone calls, correct?
Did he give an interview with a reporter in Nashville?
Yes, he did.
And in that interview, did he admit that he was at the scene at the time of the murders?
He did.
Did he also admit that he had dropped the child off on the side of the road with Irisburg?
I don't recall that part. No.
Are you aware of the fact that Austin Drummond has previous felony convictions?
He does.
Yes, sir.
And I'll pass the witness.
Yes, sir. Mr. Huffman?
Good afternoon, Agent Tubbs. A few questions. Would it be fair to say that you were the lead agent on this case?
I'm the case agent, correct?
So you pretty much have seen most of the information as it comes in. For instance, the medical examiner's report. You have preliminary reports, is that right?
I had a preliminary phone call. I haven't received a report yet.
Oh, I hope I didn't speed up his stuff. I might have. I don't know. Listen. All right. Yeah, I think I jacked that up a little bit, but it's okay, y'all. I feel like I did Nash. What Nash? Nash would she criticize me anyway. She'd be like, I don't know why you did that. Hang on. Let me try to go back to this. But yeah, so I was so into what true crime. Like if y'all understood, if y'all could find, I can't find it because it's been taken down, but this idiot, Tanaka Brown, he was like, I don't know, I can't speak like him, but anyway, it would be a nice way of speaking like him. I don't know you honkies. That's what they, I guess. And he was like, I mean, I don't know nothing about that white man. Cooking with Big Daddy. Cooking with Big Daddy. But my name is Fat Fox, thank God. And that's what he was saying. I was like, whoa, bro, what's happening to you? And then he got arrested. Like the very, I think next day or maybe that day, his apartment complex was like raided. I'm sorry, it killed me. It did. I was just like, okay. Cooking with Big Daddy. And then his sister came on and she was acting horrible. Absolutely horrible. She's like, all you white people out there talking about me? Y'all might need to get on some food stamps or something, because I'm fine. My hair looks weird, but it is what it is. I mean, I got time today. Do y'all? I mean, y'all, it was nuts. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, but I don't think I can get back to this. I've got to do my thing tomorrow and go to my job. And didn't we cover almost, I think we covered almost everything with him. It was the ending where they summarized everything and, you know, that's where we move on. And then, you know, I will come back after that. I'm sorry. I'll come back after that. I will show where Austin Drummond has now tried to represent himself in court. I'll show those documents where he was written that out in like a ledger notebook thingy. Oh, I keep turning my hat backwards. Anyway, I'm sorry. And so now everything's been, and then they wanted it to be moved from Lake County. They want it to be moved to like Nashville or Shelby County. Okay, that's fine. I don't care. But he did write up this entire thing about how he's going to and I did have another video to show, but I think I'm done. I think Nash would be happy with me right now. And I'm just tired. And I am going to just be done with that. And then I love you all. Thank you all for showing up here. Y'all are very nice. I appreciate y'all for being here. I really do. Oh, you might have that with Cooking with Big Daddy. Hang on. Well, never mind, because if you send it to me, I don't know if I could figure it out how to play it. I'm new to this, y'all. It's not Shelby. Hope Davidson or Hamilton. Well, I mean, I don't know. That's what they're saying. But anyway, it blows my mind. Well, hang on. I'm not this dumb. Hold on. Let me show this. He wrote it on ledger paper. And he wants to represent himself because he's pissed. And he's just like, remember I told y'all, like, this Austin and Caitlin? Like, Caitlin wants to talk to him, y'all. She wants to talk to him. She's having his baby. I'm sorry, ma'am. Why are you not upset more about whatever happened with your family members? If you weren't involved, I'm sorry. I still think she had something to do with it. True crime, maybe you can tell me different, but I do. I think it's weird. I think it's very weird. I think it's freaking bizarre that she hadn't come around. She hadn't been nowhere. Let me see if I can pull these documents up. Hang on, I'll just keep it on me, y'all. Oh, yeah. Yes. Look at this. Look at this. See, moving forward, and Nash would be so proud of me. She'd be like, oh, see, you pushed yourself. Look, okay, this is handwritten ledger paper. Okay? Handwritten. And now, which is kind of ironic, he can't have any more paper in his jail cell. Wonder who that happened to in the past. I don't know. I think his name started with a J. So anyway, he comes through this, and man, I'm gonna have to really move the, like, I don't know. Comes now the defendant, Austin Drummond, by pro se to move the honorable court to remove Brian R. Hoffman. So he's pissed off at his lawyer. And I knew that. And I think it all has to deal with this stuff with having a protective order with Caitlin and whatever. And like, he's just a little punk and he's mad because he says during the preliminary proceedings in this case, defendant asked for the 14th day rule not to be waived. And Brian Hoffman disregarded my wishes. Look, you little shit. If you're wiping shit on your jail, like, window, I know this happened after this. I mean, yeah, it did. But you're still weird, bro. And you don't deserve anything. I don't know why you're asking for anything. He's a creep, guys. He's been coddled and babied. His parents, like, they bonded him out. And I will remind people of that. I think people forget that. Yes, he did. He wrote in poop. Yes, he did. No, his parents bonded him out. So people wonder why he was out, okay, after he face these charges in prison is because they took him directly from serving his time when he served the crime that he covered when he was 16. And then he was taken to, I think, the Lake County jail or whatever. And he posted bond. His parents posted bond for him. He's a piece of shit. Sorry. I'm not sorry. What? It is. But his mama relays messages as much as she can. But now they monitor. Well, that's good. Yes, he got bonded, Snazzy. And that's the reason why it's wild to me. See, then he's involved with this corrections officer, and she's related to all of these people that get killed. And yeah. If nobody had posted bond for him, then he would have, I guess, sat there. But they did. And so he was just around being a good dude and screwing a correctional officer. And she's had his baby. And, you know, it's a boy. And my Lord, you'd have to go back and listen to, yes, I know it is. If you're not on death row, yes, it's a right to bond state. So, yeah, they posted his bond. I mean, his parents did that. Got him out. And then he did all this. And then he makes up all this shug nuts of stuff about, I'm an informant. I'm an informant. And I thought my cover was blown. That's why I killed all these 4 people, because they were involved in the drugs and stuff in this prison. This dumbass was in that prison, and he was probably related to them from that stuff. I mean, it just, oh, it's so much, y'all. It's so much. It's so much. But he's an idiot. I hate what's happened to the family members, but I would also say this too. This, in a summary, is what's holding things up now, because he was supposed to go to a hearing, and then he filed this to fire his attorney. Now, it's interesting because I don't know what, what, as like a defendant, if you have an attorney, what evidence do you get to see? If you try to represent yourself, which is wild to me to do that, if you're facing the death penalty, what are you privy to? And that's the reason why I'm wondering why. Yes. Oh yeah. Braden and Andrea's dad was in that prison. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there's so many connections. Droning. I never knew people drone drugs into prisons. These people were all killed a mile away from that prison. It was at the end of a dead-end road and out in the middle of nowhere. And that's where they would launch their, drones. But I'm sorry, Courtney and the family, I'm just going to say it. They were not, just unaware of this behavior. They were involved in it. So anyway, guys, that is that. I hate to be so negative, but the judge was the same judge for parents. Oh, Braden. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, this was holding things up for now. And then, I haven't covered all the other stuff, like when Austin wanted to be moved to another prison, he wanted to be moved out of jail to prison. I don't care about that. It's gross to hear him talk like it is. It's nasty and sad for the people that had to take care of his sorry self. It is. I mean, he's a pain in the ass. He's not somebody that you can handle. And anyway, it just, this is all what's, halting everything. And that's that. That is that. I really appreciate y'all being here. I know it's late and I need to go to bed too, but I love you all. Thank you all for being here. I'll be better in the next ones. Now, I'm trying to keep up with this case, but I'm also I'm definitely going to be talking about, like I said before, Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a good night. Thank you, True Crime. Like, please email me with anything. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Love Dash. And it's all gonna be fine, guys. It'll all be good. Anyway, I will talk to y'all later. I don't know why I just hit that. There's supposed to be a